struggling and his business needed that money. And he went and fucked up the money like he did. He still had double that because he spent $5 million at a damn casino alone. That had nothing to do with all the other money he fucked up. Okay? Now, and this is La La News 3, and I actually am going to be going into an episode about Arkansasmo, who was sentenced for fraud. He actually has received a sentence. So you guys know where to reach me at all social media platforms, including all podcasting platforms and YouTube, La La News 3. And this is being filmed at Solid State Studios. So now I'll get right into it in this case. So we do remember back in April 2020 of hearing about, rather. That's not when he got arrested. He got arrested in May. So in April of 2020, Mauricefayne, okay, he submitted a $3.7 million paycheck, a PPP loan application, to United Community Bank. Now, he falsely claimed that he needed the funds to actually pay the 107 employees of his trucking business called Flame Trucking. So that was the original situation. Now you go into him being arrested in May, okay, of 2020 as well. Now, he actually, which Mauricefayne, aka Arkansasmo, that's what he goes by in the industry, Arkansasmo. They sentenced him to 17.5 years. I don't know where the 0.5 came in. I don't have nothing to do with that, but 17 and a half years basically for what he did. Okay, so let's go into this fraud in this situation and how this happened. Okay, so keep in mind, you do know he was like on Love and Hip Hop with Karlie Redd. That was her husband, and then there was a whole bunch of shenanigans and shady shit going on between him and Karlie Redd, plus him and other people had issues with his business practices or whatever have you that they had problems with as well too. So, you know, go back and watch those episodes that he was on and you'll find out he was already came with some shit back then. Okay. Now, if you remember, after that, once he got arrested, he was found guilty of conspiracy and wire fraud due to all the transactions and the fuckery that he had going on there. And then he was ordered to pay $4,465,865.55. Okay, so we just gonna round that off to $4,500,000 because of all that. Yeah, okay, and that's in restitution to the victims. Now, they say that he ran a multi-million-dollar Ponzi scheme, and that's stealing more than $2 million in COVID-19 relief funds, which he then used to fund his scam, and then also the things he purchased with all this money that he actually got back when his application cleared. He did get some funds, okay? So he received $2 million in funds, okay? So he he leased a Rolls Royce. He also received I'm sorry, let's not forget. Okay, so let me do this in order because I don't want to get all out of whack, so y'all can keep up because I got this documented. You already know. Now, he leased a Rolls Royce. He purchased vehicles. He also, when he was arrested, he had $80,000 in his house in cash, $9,000 on him in his pockets, and then $503,000 in PPP funds were still in his bank account, which they froze. And then he had $85,000 worth of jewelry, including a Rolex presidential watch, a diamond bracelet, and 5.73 carat and a 5.73 carat diamond ring as well. Okay, those are all the things that happened with this PPP money. Not including $136,000 to actually lease that Rolls Royce that I mentioned, and he withdrew $65,000 in cash. He spent $230,000 of the fraudulent loan money to prop up his Ponzi scheme that ripped off more than what they claimed, allegedly 20 investors in the trucking business between March 2013 and May 2020. So prior to, all the way, this should go back to 2013, he was doing this Ponzi scheme apparently. So, all the way until his ass got locked up. So, for 7 whole years, he ran this whole Ponzi scheme, which is how he investors, which is how he kept his bread going and how he lived so well, and including he had the trucking business, I guess. Now, he also had $40,000 in past due child support and $50,000 for restitution that he owed in a previous fraud case that he also paid with the PPP money. Okay, now, he spent $5 million at a casino in Oklahoma. So right there, we already have established that he didn't get $5 million in PPP money, but he spent $5 million, including all the other shit that we mentioned in the casino. Okay, so apparently, even if per se he was struggling and his business needed that money, and he went and fucked up the money like he did, he still had double that because he spent $5 million at a damn casino alone. That had nothing to do with all the other money he fucked up. Okay, now, U.S. Attorney Kurt Eckstein actually said the funds the program supplies serves as a lifeline to many businesses desperately trying to stay afloat during the pandemic. And unfortunately, his fraud helped deplete those precious dollars, end quote. Now, sidebar conversation as well. We have heard a lot about these PPP funds, you know, the scam situation, you know, everybody getting locked up, going to jail. Because what I'm noticing the trend is for the people that get locked up are generally people that have claimed to have a certain number of employees that they really don't have. And I'm going to get into that and tell you how. Because this particular person as well, who is Lee Price III, who is 30, actually submitted several fraudulent PPP loan applications to 2 different lenders on behalf of 2 different entities. Okay. 713 Construction LLC and Price Enterprises Holdings LLC as well were the companies. Now, the PPP application was made in the name, get this y'all, of someone who died shortly before the application was submitted. So do know that when people pass or are deceased, that's generally reported to the Social Security Administration, who then generally reports it everywhere else, right? You have to make these reports to the bank, that this, and that. So these things are done and Social Security has you registered as dead. We got that. So make sure that when you do an application and it's a fraudulent application, that even though it's a fraudulent application, make sure the people not dead. Make sure that when you get the money back, the money is being deposited into an account and the person is still alive. Because in that case, I mean, you would end up like Lee Price, who had this situation here, right? So now, even though he did the PPP loan applications, he did 2 of them. He actually had requested and also received over $1.6 million. Now, this is what I don't think people get. When you get caught, and most people still have that money in their bank account, okay, they freeze that shit. Then you have a restitution, they want all that money back, plus court fees and this and that fee and blah, 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 that's added on to the money that they already gave you. And then it'd be people that end up having to have a public defender, which I did another story on previously, where this guy had to have one after he spent all this money that he was stealing from the bank. So in this instance, do you think he put some of the money to the side to make sure that he actually has a lawyer? Because he's going to fucking need one. But at this point, I don't think it matters because the person is dead. And it probably matches shit like his IP address and all that shit that people don't think about. But anywho, he got the money. The person was dead and now he's arrested and we gotta wait to see because he hasn't been convicted yet either. And so those are 2 situations where this PPP shit is getting out of hand. All y'all that did the PPP fraudulently, I hope y'all made sure y'all tracks was covered and all that, because they locking niggas up, period. It don't matter. Okay, so make sure you keep that in mind when the next batch open, the next round, because make sure you do it legitly or don't do it at all, because you put employees on there that's dead, it's something bound to happen. Okay, so let me know what you guys think. Okay. This is Lala News 3, and I am out here at Solid State Studios filming, so, and make sure you check me out on all social media platforms at Lala News 3, including YouTube and everywhere else. And I'm out.